Liquor Talk. A brand new episode starts right now. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Liquor Talk podcast. Happy Mother's Day, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the Mother's Day, a special Mother's Day edition. So if you're listening to this is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to bring back a former guest, someone that the last time they came on, we were in a damn pandemic. You first heard her on episode 92 of Liquor Talk. So it's been a very long time. But podcasting out of Arizona is Keyanna from the Dark Sugar Podcast. How have you been, Keyanna?
Hello, I've been good, just slowly creeping back into the podcast scene. So I'm really happy to be on with you because I haven't been a guest in a really long time. So it feels good. It's been good.
Yeah, it feels good to have you on. It's also fun to bring back someone it's been a long time. Like, well, sorry for the wait, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
so what's been
no,
going on
I
with
was on
you?
hiatus. I had a hiatus for a minute. No, it's just like, I think that a lot of people in their late 20s have that moment of just a total switch, different friends, different job, different everything. And I feel like that's what I've been going through since the pandemic. And it's just like a natural coming of age thing. But I feel like it's finally evened out and things are a lot more level. I know I've been telling my listeners about it a lot and I'm very candid about it, but no, it's been good.
Yeah, I
And
feel
how
you
about
on that.
you?
It's been like a damn roller coaster, but it's like I can somewhat see the light at the end of the tunnel where things are gonna even out and we're gonna come full circle. So it's like,
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean, I ain't
matters.
gonna lie to you. I flirted with moving to Arizona, but then my friend I was gonna wanted me to move out there. They ended up moving to Texas. So,
Rightfully so. I see that. I see that transition a lot
so
deeper.
I'm still holding it down in Florida. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you rock with me, even though there's a big time difference. So
Oh no, I'm a night owl, so this works.
yeah, I damn sure could be a night owl myself. So, but a lot has happened since episode 92 of Liquor Talk, which we were still in. I think we were still in the pandemic at that time.
Yeah, no, we definitely were, is just I'm a teacher right now and students have been admitting to me how much they've missed out during that time. And I'm no teacher, so I can clearly see it. Like, wow, y'all really like you were at home, you were not on the computer. It was just it was a really crazy time.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy time. Shout out to you for being a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at the TikToks and I see the complaints of teachers, and also I see the how hard y'all fought to get decent living wages. Because
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those jobs or it's one of those jobs and one of those things where you just have no idea unless you're doing it. And because I remember during that time a lot of people were like, why are you fighting for better pay? Like like they thought we got paid from our school when we it was just like really weird. Like they think we get paid over the summer during that part of the pandemic where nothing was going on. People were thinking that we were getting paid. And it was just really, people have weird misconceptions about teachers. And I'm like, I don't think y'all understand like how hard this job is, especially when I'm like half ass like raising your child. Like they don't, it's just one of those things.
yeah, y'all are like whole ass raising children and stuff, and it's like I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be watching the show Abbott Elementary. You know what I'm saying? I'll be seeing like. I'll be watching. I'm like, I can only imagine what teachers go through. Like, goddamn, I see it on a sitcom. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's probably
It's
even worse in real
that.
life.
It's that like times 10. And every teacher, if you talk to any teacher, they'll tell you like, oh, we need to have a documentary. Like we need to have camera because you need like that fourth wall camera sometimes to just look at and go like, what the fuck? Like did anybody like did you just see that? Like did you just hear that? Like teaching's teaching's wild, yo. Kids are crazy. They're the future and everything. But yeah, you teachers need to get paid way more. 100K, I think at least, to be honest.
Yeah, y'all need 100K or more. Y'all need that because these badass kids, and it's like, and also parents got to experience that during the damn pandemic. They're like, oh my goodness, and
Yeah,
then I realized a lot of parents are dumb as fuck. They always sitting there trying to help the kids with the homework, and they can't even do it because they can't figure shit out them damn selves.
well, that's true, and that just speaks to the education system in our country. It's terrible. Terrible. Like literally the way we do math changes every year, every 2 years. So when people are like, "Oh, this is that new math." Like what the they're not lying. Like these people literally pull out their ass new ways to do math every so often, and it's sometimes it's better and maybe it is more effective, but it's like we're still changing it every 2 grade periods, so hopefully we'll see. I think there's things in the works for us to get paid more, so
Yeah, well, hopefully, I hope teachers get paid more, because y'all definitely deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
we
Definitely
do.
deserve it.
We
Now,
do.
today is, like I said, it is Mother's Day. So, is there something you want to say to your mom if she's listening to this
Oh
podcast?
my god. um I think I would like to say to my mom that I finally have been able to see her for the first time. And I've been able to see all parts of her, which I think is really a privilege to be able to do. Like, as her daughter, I've seen the inner her, the inner child. I've seen my mom's shadow. I've seen like her inner teenager. I've seen the vulnerable, traumatized parts of her, and I've come to really accept and know her. And I would like my mom to know that I respect her, um, and love who she is, like as a person, which we had a really my mom and I like we had a really rocky start, mom. Like there was a minute where I was like, are we gonna have a relationship? A mother-daughter one? And so I think we've come really full circle. And so I feel like to be able to really respect your parent as a person, not just as your parent, but I finally respect my mom as a person. So I just would love to, tell my mom I love you and I respect you, all of you.
Um, that's
Hmm.
special. I definitely feel that.
Hmm.
So my mom, who's I know she's an avid listener of Liquor Talk. I know she's been very supportive. You know, so I know that whenever she catches, she does listen, tune in and stuff. Mom, I'm grateful for you. You know what I'm saying? You taught me that women can be accountable because when she admitted that she fucked up in her first marriage, she admitted that to me. I'm like, you know what?
Mm.
It takes a strong-minded woman to admit
Because-
when she's wrong because not a lot of women today know how to admit when they're wrong. And you know
mhm.
what, Mom, you have certainly made up for the childhood because you've been that rock I've needed to for encouragement or for anything. I'm grateful for you. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to know on this Mother's Day that I don't give a damn if it's Mother's Day or any other day. I'm always
Mhm.
grateful and appreciative of you, and I wish people would stop just showing love to their parents on Mother's Day or just Father's Day.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's become such like a holiday type of thing, and yeah, relationships with parents and mothers can be really complicated, but I feel like as a society and culture, we're becoming more empathetic with each other. Because I
yeah,
know for a while, especially with that older generation, like our parents, I know for my mom, she kind of saw her parents like not as robots, but they were kind of like entities. It was hard to see them as like people because one, they didn't have the space to be vulnerable in that way,
right.
and probably a whole lot of other traumas. But I think we're finally like really opening up to the humanness in our parents, which is just it's so important.
It is. And also, speaking on the humanist, I gotta say to us millennials and everybody else, it's okay to give your parents grace, you know what I'm saying? But and you ain't gotta beat
Mm.
them up for every little thing that went on in your
Yeah.
childhood that you feel like
Yeah.
changed the trajectory of your life. You know, at some point, you just gotta give them grace and take accountability
Mhm.
for younger you not knowing how to change, not let your parent affect you. You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta realize parents gotta grow up too. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? I hit my certain age with no kids, and I think about all the things I done went through. I'm like, ain't no way in the world I'd be able to have a kid. And it's like, I know you're a teacher. I'm like, I don't know how you would feel about. I don't know if you have kids or not, but I don't know how you would feel in being a teacher but having a kid.
So wait, you have kids or no?
No, I ain't got no kids.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, I just how old are you? Sorry, I'm being so nosy.
You're good. I'm 33, about to be 34 in December.
Okay. And so yeah, like so because I'm 29, and so like now is the time when you know you're getting that question asked, or even a couple years ago, I was getting the question asked a lot, and my kids will ask me if I want to have kids, and it's 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 hard, especially when you throw mental health and mental illness and a whole bunch of other things in the mix. For the longest time, I was just like, I don't really think so. I'm more open now, but I'm definitely seeing that having a stable partner, but also my life is really important. Because of course, a kid is just gonna shake shit up regardless. But um, yeah, it's a hard job. And then going back to what you just said about forgiveness, I'm like you. Also seeing that that's like a lot of the missing things. And on both sides of my family, they're at these weird like pivotal parallels where there's so much coming up, and a lot of the older siblings are looking to the parents who are very old to like atone them. And I'm like, I don't think I don't think you're gonna get Medea or so and so or Lovey to like admit that they fucked you up. Like maybe you're not gonna get that. And I think that's hard.
That's definitely hard. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely hard to. And it's just looks like some things you just gotta take the L and just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Because especially the a generation past our parents, because they don't they set in their ways. They don't understand taking accountability and stuff.
Yeah. And then see, and then this is another thing, and I'm gonna be vague without like naming calling people out. But just in general situations, like because I think this is a general situation in a lot of black families where it's like, okay, let's say, and we've seen this. This has been in Tyler Perry movies, I'm sure. I can't remember which one, but it's like where, okay, the mom was in an abusive relationship. She had a daughter. The man assaulted the daughter, and the daughter grew up with this animosity towards the mother when the mother was actually being abused and maybe like sexually assaulted herself. And they're not able to empathize with each other because the daughter has this anger, which I understand, towards the mom, but then the mom also has her own anger and they're not able to see each other. And I've seen that situation varied or differentiated or whatever in so many different ways. And a lot of the times, because it's like my grandma was 14 when she
Mm-hmm.
was married. That's an eighth grader.
Wow.
That's my student. That's my student.
Damn, times were really different. 14 and you were married?
And that
Wow.
was, if anything, she was kind of old. Like, and that was normal, you know. Like that. So that's one of my eighth graders getting married right now, being thrown into a house, going, okay, cook, clean, husband, wife, mother shit, do all that. And when her mom was maybe that age or younger, when she was a sharecropper or whatever the hell, and she was supposed to teach my grandma how to be a mom and a wife and a whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I just feel like you just said it. Forgiveness, letting it go, not putting your whole healing on your parent. That's what I see. I'm like, man, you're putting your whole healing on your parent.
Yeah, and also you putting your whole hand on your parent, and you don't know what your parent is going through. Like you don't know if they could the mental capacity to be like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Yeah.
and I've had to tell myself that, look, I'm like, it happened. It just happened, and you made it through it, though. That's the main thing people don't realize. It's like, you're fucking here today. Like, so what? Your parent did all this shit. You made it through it.
Yeah. And I think speaks to how powerful the mind and trauma is, the fact that people get so they're like literally stuck in the past, in that moment, in that whatever. But one thing that my therapist has said to me was that, because I did talk therapy for a really long time, like blah blah blah, my mom did this, my dad did this, blah 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 blah, blah. And then I was just like, oh my god, this isn't working. Like, how many times am I going to repeat this story? And she's like, okay, F the story. She's like, you need to tell me what you lost from this. Why do we keep talking about this? Something's missing from you, right? What is that? And to get that out and then get over it. Because in any instance where it's like, oh, I need my mom to atone me, I'm just like, what does she need to give you that's missing from you? What did she
Mm,
take? And usually when we can just get to that point, it becomes like a little more logical, instead of just swirling in our emotions of this trauma and not knowing like where to direct it, you know?
yeah. And it's just, it's like we allow ourselves to swirl in our trauma, and we allow years on our lives to pass by. I'm like, you know what? There's too much life to be out here living to, you
Is
know what I'm saying, to dwell on the past. I'm like, I just look at it
is
like, look, it happened. It didn't kill you, so it made you stronger. So we here. And you know what? And also in our generation, we getting older. That means our parents also getting older, so they may
Mhm.
need us. You know, so we can't
Yeah.
be resentful towards them when they need us, because that's gonna come back on you in some form or fashion.
Yeah, true. I think it's just complicated and maybe individual to each person, because, and here's the other thing. I've seen both sides. I've seen like amazing healing where that person or the parent, they can come together and they can have a really beautiful relationship. But then I've also, and I'm sure you have too, seen that flip side where it's like Mother's Day could be very traumatic because you had to block your mom, or the mom had to block you, or you had to block your dad, or you're not talking to your parents, or something like strenuous. Because I've seen mother daughter specifically where they're both trying so hard to have the relationship, but they need to let go for a minute so they can both, oh, I apologize, I don't know what this noise is from this computer, but they need to just kind of like let each other go for a minute to come back together. And I think people need to know that that's okay too, even though it's so hard and sad,
Yeah,
that
it
it's
is.
okay.
And another thing I will say on Mother's Day, because I do know someone that's going through this. Like, to the moms that don't act like they don't want their child to win, don't celebrate Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's sad, and I can hear it when I talk to people, and they tell me that they have a strained relationship with their mothers, and I hear the shit that they put their mothers. So I'm like, you really carry this child for 9 months for this? No, you don't get to celebrate Mother's Day.
Okay,
No.
wait, you're saying if the mom,
No, because there's some deadbeat mothers out there who
oh,
will put put their child in fucked up situations.
yes,
Yeah, you
yes,
know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
like, there's some deadbeat mothers out there that
yes,
they still looking for their roses. Like, no, you don't get no
yeah,
damn flowers for Mother's Day, because
yeah,
you done put your child in fucked up situations, and you done did everything you can to disown your child. You don't get to
oh
celebrate
yeah,
Mother's Day.
oh yeah, it's ugh. And I've had friends where I've seen this with them and their moms, and I'll just tell them, this is unnatural. I hope you know that. Like, your mom acting this way, this is against nature. And you see that in nature, like at the zoo, um, conservations or whatever, when what is it? When the baby animal when the mom rejects it, people freak out. It's like this big ass thing. Oh my god, the mom doesn't want the baby. Oh my god, we need to foster. Oh my god, get a big, plush animal for the. Oh my god, because like the animal could die.
Right.
And like for us, depending on the level of neglect, but if it's an emotional, spiritual, mental thing, that's mental suicide that you're inflicting on your child because you don't want to attach or not you want to, maybe you don't have the skills or whatever the fuck to attach in the appropriate way. And I've had to tell friends of mine, very close friends, like, okay, this is not your fault. This is not natural. Your parents not being the way they're supposed to be. And I think we're not looking for perfect mothers or perfect parents, because that's usually well, I'm not perfect. No, we're not asking for that. But I think a lot of kids are asking for the truth and they're asking for honesty. Okay, instead of, I think it was Kirk Franklin's story? I think it was thinking about, okay, the mom didn't know who the dad was. Okay, well, instead of being a bitch about it and like not talking to me, just admit you don't know. And we can just connect there.
Yeah. I saw that same story and I'm like, that damn, Kurt Franklin's how old and he just met his dad? Like, I would have respected the mom more so if you would have just said, I'm not sure who the dad was. But I feel like you were lying to him all these years. You were lying to him for what?
No, I felt like that too. It just all didn't like really make any sense. But it's just like, we just want you to be honest. Just say, baby girl, I am so sorry for whatever that man did to you, but he was doing the same thing to me, or worse, or this or that. Like, just, like just more honesty, or like, hey, I did that to you, man. I maybe can't even remember, but I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. This is what I was going through. Or, wow, I validate that. That's fucked up that I did. Like, I think that's all that a lot of kids want.
It is. It really is. And it's like, because when my mom told me about some of the fucked up things her first husband did to her, and I'm like, and this motherfucker was doing it to me too. I'm like, damn, you were in this thing. I'm like, I can understand it, but I'm like, damn, mom. I wish you would have been stronger. But then when she explained it more, I'm like, I see where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying? Because you just never know. Like, parents, if you just tell your kids what's going on, man, we'll understand it.
Yeah, and I've noticed that even as a teacher, like, I was really struggling. I felt really disconnected with my homeroom. I'm like really close with my homeroom, and I was feeling really disconnected with them. And one day I was like, girl, just be honest with them. And one day I was like, okay, we're gonna have a little community meeting. I was like, real talk? Y'all have been getting on my last nerve. I'm so frustrated with you. I've been expecting more from you. I want to buy you donuts and pizza and all this extra shit, but y'all aren't giving me donut pizza energy. So what are we doing? Once I laid it out like that, and they're like, "Oh, Miss Blas is like pissed." The next day, and from that point forward, I've been more honest with them, and I feel a way better connection with my students. Literally, like, they'll get up, start walking, and I'll look and I'll be like, "Wait, miss, I'm going to the bathroom." Oh, okay, thank you. All right, go to the bathroom. Okay, cool. Bye. See you when you get back. I'm just like, oh, okay. Or I'm like, oh my God, the schedule. Miss, I got the schedule right here. Here you go. And I'm like, oh, thanks, y'all. Like it's just like we got a little, or all I have to do is give them a look now. And they're like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, because I was honest and they get me.
Yes.
Or now when I even yell again, they know this time, like, bitch, you ain't playing. Like, let's get it together. Because I was honest. Even though it was weird, I don't want to admit to the kids I'm stressed. Or some days, miss, you don't know what discombobulated today, and I don't know what's going on today. Sorry, I don't know the schedule.
Yes.
Like,
shout out to, yes, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you for being honest, because I'm like, if I would have had a lot more honest teachers, man, things would have been a whole lot different. I'm telling you, I might have been on the honor roll for all I know, you know?
Yeah, I think I definitely noticed the difference. Because I was this is what I tell teachers all the time. Don't do that fourth wall shit. me teacher, you student. Don't do that. The kids can feel that. You're not on a stage when you're in the classroom. The kids can see you and feel you, like they can touch you. Then some teachers, they get, okay, I'm teacher now, and what we're gonna, no, no, no. And that's when you get kids throwing pencils at you and they don't respect you and you don't know why they don't listen. It's the honesty that helps. That's what kids need. That's what any human needs, is that vulnerability, honesty, authenticity. Like, we thrive on that. And so we just expect that from parents. And I understand the trauma and the whys. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like, grow up. Like, grow up.
Listen, we all have to grow up at some point, you know what I'm saying? We just gotta move on from our past, you know what I'm saying? And move on. Just move it on. Like, you made it through it. What don't kill you make you stronger. So in some way, your life got stronger because you made through that certain situation. So we
Mhm.
just gotta move on from it. Now, what do you say to people that are your age who are mothers? You know what I'm saying? Like I say, shout out to all the mothers who are my age, who are holding it down, who are doing the damn thing, you know what I'm saying? Because there are some people that I went to high school and college with. I found out their mothers, I'm like, damn, happy Mother's Day. I'm like, well, happy Mother's Day to you, feel me?
Yeah, no, I have a few friends that are moms, my nieces who are just like a few years older than me are mothers, and I see what they go through, and I just think they need to be so much. It's easy for me to say this, but I think I would like for them to be easier on themselves. My friends are so hard on themselves, like they don't spank, and they're like, I think I traumatized her because I told her no. And I'm like, you're fine, you're okay. Like they're like, I'm like, girl,
You
that's,
traumatized her because you told her no, man.
yeah.
Listen,
I'm like, you don't even spank her. I think you're doing good. Like, this doesn't sound, I think
man,
you're
her
doing
babies
okay.
wouldn't last a day as the parents we dealt with, you know what I'm saying? If you get traumatized because you got told no, like,
No, not actually, but she was just saying like, oh my god, I talked to her sternly, like, is she okay? And I'm like, you're good, she's okay, you know. They're so hard on themselves, and I would, they're just doing way better than they think they are. A lot of my friends are raising themselves as they're raising their kids. Like, they're in the midst of their own trauma with their mom or whoever, and then boom, you have a kid, and now you need to like speed that shit up. You don't have extra time to work through whatever the fuck you were trying to work through. Like, now you have a kid. And I think that switch is, that's traumatic. That's traumatic. I've seen it. That's so traumatic for them. It causes an identity crisis, your mental health. You literally have postpartum already, so then you have that on top. It's wild. I think they need more credit, but then they also need to give themselves more credit, because we live in a world that does not give you credit. Even
yeah.
though we do have this Mother's Day, like you just said, it's one day that we make this big deal when this should be all the time. So even though it needs to come from us, I also want moms to know that it's okay to be like, I'm a damn good mom and I try my best every damn day. And you're gonna fuck up your kid a little bit. You are. You are. But it's the scale. Where do you do it? Okay, did you yell a little bit too much or whatever? Okay, like, they'll be fine. You know, but I think just it's okay for them to hype themselves up. I think that's really
Yes. You know, you definitely gotta hype yourselves up, moms. Like, if you know you out here on your grind, especially the single moms, you know what I'm saying? I know there's a song out that goes, now you're a single mom, yada yada yada. But y'all are doing some of y'all are doing the damn thing. If you are doing the damn thing, you're taking care of your kid, fucking hype yourself up. You deserve it, you know what I'm saying? Especially on today. And don't let today be the only day you hype yourself up. I need y'all hyping yourselves up every day because you are out here doing the damn thing with it without your partner, you know what I'm saying? So hype yourselves
yeah.
up, give yourselves credit because y'all fucking earned it. And also shout out to all the single moms in my age that I know of that are holding it down, are grinding out here doing their thing. And also shout out to the single moms that allow dads to still be around, even though y'all are not together. Because I've heard of some stories of, dads, just because y'all not together, I've heard some dads, what I'm saying, oh, my girl won't let me see the kids because we ain't together, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of
Yeah,
messed up, you know.
yeah, yeah. Those situations can be. Oh, I immediately thought of Kanye West. Sorry.
Damn, I thought of Kanye West too, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn Kanye, you know what I'm saying?
That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, and I don't know about you, but I was in that situation too growing up. And it was funny because I didn't know all the shit my dad was doing. My dad was doing so much fuck shit. And when I grew up and realized what was going on, I was like, wow, mom, thank you so much for still letting me have a relationship with him. Cause like, I'm not saying that this would have been okay, but I could see where her mind could connect the dots like, okay, I don't want my daughter with him, or I don't want my daughter, or he needs to just leave and let's leave us and then we'll be fine. Like I could see that train of thought and she didn't go there. And I really appreciate that because it allowed
Yeah,
me to, and she also didn't shit talk my dad to me. I had no idea what was going on. Like, no clue. And even though when I did find out, that was a lot to process at once, I was kind of grateful that I had that innocence growing up of not knowing anything. Aside, I mean, I would hear their fights, but I didn't know what he was like running around doing. Like I didn't know what was going on.
right. I feel that too because my mom, she really didn't shit talk my dad either. But you know what? Like I said, I've had to tell my mom I forgive her for her first husband. But I'm like, sometimes I do wonder if my dad would have been better than him. But you know what? At the end of the day, it
Mm.
happened. You just gotta keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I do forgive my mom for that because I got to see what kind of man my dad was, and I'm like, an example of that is the fact that I met the sister I'm close to. I ain't meet her till I was 26. So it's like that should tell you what kind of dad I had. You know what I'm saying? My dad was out here just making babies, you know what I'm saying, having women bicker over each other. So it's like I can forgive my mom for like, I understand why my dad wasn't around, but there is that part of me that does say that, hey, maybe my dad been better than what I went through, but it is. But that's just where I had to overcome it and say, you know what, it happened. You got to forgive her. You're not in jail for murder, so you definitely got to forgive her.
Yeah, I know totally. And it's just when I think I'm sorry, I keep referencing teaching, but seeing parents and talking to parents in their own way, they've admitted to me not that they don't know what they're doing, but that it's hard and they struggle. And sometimes, yeah, no, I've had parents say, yeah, sometimes I don't know what to do. And kids expect their parents to be perfect. And
Right.
I'm really glad you gave your mom grace on that because, yeah, at the same time, even if my mom did go, wow, like your dad ran off again with that bitch. Like, can you like, oh my god, da da da. I don't think that. I'm like, well, yeah, like, especially it's just me and my mom. It's nobody else around. Like, I don't know. Yeah, just giving parents a lot more grace. While at the same time, I think people, like I said, like mothers, we need to practice more validating ourselves because I know for me, like what I needed that, like, wow, this is really fucked up. Da, 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 da. I needed to tell myself, you're right, Keyanna, this was fucked up. Because I wanted my mom to say it, or I wanted somebody else to say it. And then it's just like, no, that was fucked. That was fucked up. It was. Yes. Yes, it was for myself. And I encourage a lot of people who are struggling with their parents and you want your parent to admit something or you want that you can admit it to yourself first. Because I think that's like a little crutch right there. That's like a cop out. That's preventing you from truly feeling what the fucked up shit you need to admit is. You want your parent to admit it because it'll feel better if they do it. But it's like
Yeah.
you need to do it. And it'll hurt when you do it, but you need to do it first. And then if they do
Yeah.
it, okay, that's like extra, but you have to do
Yeah.
it.
It definitely is extra. And also sometimes we gotta admit to ourselves that it was fucked up, but you gotta admit to stuff because sometimes our parents might not ever admit that it was fucked up because you
Yeah.
forget the generation that they were raised in.
Oh
You
yeah.
can't get them those our grandparents to admit shit, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna ever say, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, you know.
No, totally. I apologize. I have to switch locations.
Go
Is that
for it,
okay?
go for it, go
Okay,
for it.
because I a piece of my charger, you know when you grab your charger but you don't grab the whole thing? I just did that.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I definitely understand that. While you
I'm so
doing that,
sorry.
ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. This podcast sounds a whole lot better when you have some liquor in your system. I don't care what it is, whether it's some wine, some Hennessy, or some vodka, whatever it is. Ladies and gentlemen, pour it up and support the podcast, whether it's on iHeartRadio, Spotify, um, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts at. Keep pouring it up and keep supporting the vision. We're almost at 300 episodes. I still can't believe it, ladies and gentlemen. We're damn near at 300 episodes, but we are, and I thank you for supporting. And if you want to give us some feedback, please show us, and also tell us what y'all think. What are some things that you dealt with your mom that you had to, had to overcome and stuff? So, now that my guest is settled and stuff, now I know it's about minute 36, and I should ask you this at first, but because you're a return guest, I didn't ask. But you know
Mm.
what? I got to remember, not a lot of people were still supporting Liquor Talk at the time. So, why don't you tell the people about the Dark Sugar podcast? I know we're at minute 37. I probably should have
Oh no, you're
asked you
good.
this at minute 5. I do apologize.
No, you're good. Well, my podcast is Dark Sugar Podcast. Started in 2018. That's so wild, 6 years. And it's a mental health podcast where we talk about how blackness and mental health um kind of intertwine with each other and affect each other. I also talk about psychology and nuances in psychology as well as like pop psychology that has been pretty trendy lately. Um, but yeah, I'm available on Google, Spotify, Apple. I do have some YouTube, but I plan on uploading more episodes on there, but I think I just have like one or two, so that's gonna get started soon. But definitely look forward to more collabs, more lives. I can't say anything else because I'm in the mix, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that. And I know it's been a while. Like I said, I do thank you for because you were a part of the Liquor Talk boom or the guest boom where I realized that I don't need a co-host living in the city to, you know what I'm saying, to go
Oh
ahead
yeah, no you
and make
don't.
podcasts happen because don't get me wrong, I got love for the people that held it down with me the first round go around, but when people don't believe in your vision, they don't show up. And also, I found that people in other places they will show up for you faster than people that's like right up the street from you. It's
I've
sad.
had that.
It's a sad reality, but it is what it is.
It's really true. I've had that. I've seen that too.
It's like, damn, like we're right up the street together. You know what I'm saying? I can literally see you're literally my next door neighbor, but you just gotta give people grace and just move on with your life, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
also embrace the support where it comes from. That's where I feel like that's
Mhm.
where a lot of podcasters fuck up at because a lot of people I look back on some people I had that had on around the time that they ain't even podcasting no more. I'm like, damn.
Oh yeah, no, I've had that too. I'm actually like kind of cleaning out my um just like followers and everything who I follow and who follows me. And yeah, I'm seeing I'm like, oh my god, like they're not even a podcast anymore. And I'm just like, yeah, it's hard. It takes a lot of consistency. That's why I almost Yeah, it was hard for me to be consistent for a minute just because of life stuff too. But
Yeah. And I'm glad you didn't let life win because sometimes life will try to throw everything it can to win. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've dealt with
Mhm.
some fucked up situations. I'm like, you're not stopping this vision life. You know what I'm saying? It's like I love what I do. You know what I'm saying? I love getting on the
Mhm.
mic and talking to people in different states. I love making connections in other states so that way if I ever roll up in that state, I'm like, hey, I have a connection here. So where I'm not
Yeah.
just fucking lost.
No, totally. And then I think it just expands the community. I don't know why, but at the beginning of podcasting, I wasn't anti collab, but I just like didn't see the point. If I'm being really honest, I'm like, it's my podcast and I'm just talking. Like, what do I need to? And then when I started collabing with people and connecting, I was like, oh, this is like so much bigger than just me talking.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's about connecting and getting to know other people and learning.
Yeah. And also, it was through collaborations that I learned that people in other states will support you more than people in your own city or state. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mhm.
that's one thing I learned. That's why I've embraced the collaborations because it's always fun to listen to people's stories and stuff and let them tell their stories about where they came from and stuff. You know?
Mhm. No, for sure.
Yeah. Now going back to one of your most recent episodes, like you talked about what the fuck is intuition, and I'm like, this does hit. You know what I'm saying? Now, why do you feel like people don't trust their intuition at times?
Um, I feel like because they don't understand it. I didn't understand mine. And
Yeah.
also intuition is personal. And so it's a journey. I think for one, I didn't understand mine. I thought that intuition is just this like yes, it's universal, but I thought the framework was universal. So mine's gonna look like somebody else's, or mine is gonna feel like somebody else's, and that's not true. So I'm watching all these videos about intuition, people explaining it, white people explaining it, and I'm just like it was just so confusing. So I feel like when people understand what their intuition is for, how it feels to you and how it applies situationally, that's when you have a better connection to it.
Hmm. That's real. So now I hate to play devil's advocate here, but what do you say if you trust your intuition and it's still you're still find out you come to find out your intuition was wrong?
I realize it's not about being right or wrong, which blew my mind. Like it's so weird, but it's like not about being right or wrong. Sometimes it's about like okay, so for instance, I've had feelings not to go to parties.
Hmm.
Now, I've had feelings not to go places and things happened. And I've also had feelings not to go, but nothing happened. But when you really think about the universe and the framework and time and how time works, if you would have gone, something probably would have happened. The fact that you did not go is what made nothing happen. So sometimes it's not always about being right or wrong. Sometimes it doesn't work the way we think it does. Or we think, oh, so and so's cheating, my intuition's telling me. And you break up and it's like, man, he wasn't even cheating, girl, la 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 la. No, maybe he wasn't, but in a month or two, maybe he would have. And you just caught it.
Hmm.
So you never know how it works, but it doesn't matter. I realize what matters is you working that muscle of listening to yourself.
Yes, you definitely got to work that muscle into yourself. And it's like if your intuition is telling you to make a move, you got to trust your intuition because I had a teacher back in the day, like back when I was in school and stuff. I was taking a test and the teacher marked on a couple of my answers. He was like, you had the right answer. You should always trust your first intuition. And I was like, wow. So that told me right there you got to trust your intuition because sometimes your intuition might be telling you something that might be right and you don't even realize it.
Okay, so let me tell you a small intuition thing that blew my mind, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
at work, the kids have a computer cart where their laptops go in, and it's like a big like singular charger that charges the whole cart of the computers. And so there have been a few times throughout the year where we thought the cart was charging either over the weekend or a night, and then when we come back in the morning it wasn't plugged in or something was wrong. So tell me why I get to my room and the cart's next to the bookshelf and I'm like doing something at the bookshelf and something's telling me their laptops did not charge. Like something's just telling me they didn't charge. And I'm like, what? Yes, they did. Like da da da. The kids come in, Miss, oh damn, Miss, the laptops didn't charge. Da, da, da. And I was like, I literally could have plugged I should have looked and plugged it in. It would have been charged by the time they came in. But I just ignored it because I was like, no, when it wouldn't have hurt me to just look and see that it was not plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like little things like that. Like it wouldn't have hurt me. But I think intuition is so profound to me that sometimes when I hear it, I'm like, I didn't just hear that shit. Like I'm in denial. I'm like, because it's literally for me like a voice and this distinct knowing. And I'm just like, ain't no way. And I'm like, why do I do that? And I'm trying to challenge that. I'm trying to work on that because I'm like, bitch, I told you. I told you. Like, why didn't you just do it? And so yeah, I think everybody has their own different reasons. Like, do you follow your intuition? Are you good with that?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 I do, but then sometimes
Okay.
I'm like sometimes it be them one offs that they'll get you, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's a job or if it's or a situation or you're like, I don't know about this situation, you know what I'm saying? But you know.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree that it's usually correct. Like usually, but um yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. It's kind of like a God thing, how people are like, it's God's timing. It's you can't always trust with your human eyes. It's kind of the same with intuition. Like, yo, this could be any this could be any sort of way, and like not the way you always think. Um, but I think my biggest lesson with intuition is not to let anybody hijack mine or make me doubt mine. Like
Right.
if I'm gonna doubt mine, it's because I'm doubting mine, not because someone's manipulating me or talking me out of it. Um, because speaking of unnatural things, it is unnatural to talk someone out of their intuition. Your intuition
Listen.
is divine. So for
Hmm.
someone to talk you out of that, I think it's demonic. Personally. So when I feel someone doing that to me or when I see someone doing that, I'm just like, "Ooh, that is very unnatural." Because if somebody came to me and was like, "Yo, girl, you know that party Friday night? Like, I just have a bad feeling I'm gonna stay home. I really
Hmm.
don't feel good, like my gut's telling me." If they said it like that and I go, "Girl, you better come on." What? They literally just said it's not, well, I'm scared and I'm nervous. No, they said something's up. I'm gonna stay home. To talk them out of that, I think is very strange. Even if you don't mean it in like a bad way, you have to respect. To me, that shows that you don't respect your own intuition if you can talk somebody out of theirs. And
Hmm.
so, and you know, relationships too, where I'm like, yeah, I feel like something's up, and he's like, no, what? Like you don't. It's that's not natural.
Yeah, listen, you gotta now. You touched on a few points here, and I'm about to. I agree with all of them. It's like now, if it's with the relationships and stuff, you always gotta trust your gut. You know what I'm saying? Because something going on, and if that person don't listen to you, I feel like that person ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Now, if someone tries to talk you out of your vision, then and if they do, that's not really your vision. Because I had someone talk me out of my visions of going to law school, and I'm like, and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I ain't feeling law school now that I think about it. You know what I'm saying? Now that I think I'm like if I become a lawyer and I get people off, I'm like, yeah, and people may have did that, you know what I'm saying? Now it's like, but what I'm saying is if someone can talk you out of your intuition, then the intuition wasn't clear enough, or if it wasn't real enough. But if you can't trust someone's intuition, then you ain't a really good friend or lover at that.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hear you, but personally, I've been in situations where I was dead set on something and was manipulated out of it when I really did think that. But
Right.
because was so like, and it speaks more to me than that person being manipulated, but because I wasn't sure in my own sense of self and what
Hmm.
I believed, I could just like sway like that.
Right.
And they
No,
and they knew that.
exactly. Now I've had intuition where my intuition did fail me, but I was young as hell and I didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
it takes
probably
practice.
yeah. And it's a situation where everybody was right about a situation where like they all said the same thing, but my mind was like, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong, but
Yep.
in
Yep.
reality, they were right.
Yep. Yeah. And sometimes and see, I went through this thing with my friends, right? About being wrong or right. And it's about relationships because several times I've had friends in relationships and I'm honest, like if I don't like your partner, if I feel like a weird vibe, I will tell you. And it's not it's for I care about you. I'm not trying to be
Hmm.
messy. It's just like, hey, especially if the friend is like bringing the concern, I'll go, yeah, I'm also concerned. This is why, And but for some reason the other way around, I've had friends not tell me anything until after.
Right.
And I'm like looking at them and they're like, "Oh yeah, girl, this and this and yeah, I knew this and I saw this." And I'm like,
You know,
okay, this
I
is
guess
not
maybe
helpful."
they didn't feel like you were gonna say you were going to trust them. That's probably why they didn't say nothing, which is messed
Correct.
up.
But yes, that's fucked up because when I told you, I don't give a shit if I'm right or wrong. I actually hope I'm wrong, but I'm telling you for your well being because I care about you. Fuck if you listen to what I say. I care about you. That's like, to me, it's the equivalent of watching me cross the street and you see a bus but you're not
Mhm.
sure if I'm going to listen to you or not. So you don't say anything, and then I'm in the hospital, and you're like, "Girl, I saw that fucking bus,"
Why you
and
ain't
I'm
say
like,
something?
"Well, not only that, but why are you saying it now?" I actually care less about the fact that they didn't say anything because I actually get that. You didn't feel like it was your place. Um, Maybe I had an attitude and you didn't want to bring. Totally get that, but it's not helping now. So to me, I told them like I feel you guys, but pick one because actually you were right because you could see you're farther away. You can see this like after a certain point and your friends are solid in the relationship. No, don't comment anymore. But I don't see anything wrong with one time going, "Hey girl, I'm seeing this thing I'm concerned about. How do you feel about it? I'm just noticing something. Do you notice that?"
Hmm.
That's what I did. And but I just felt like I didn't get it back. When I've talked to them about it, it's cool. But I was just kind of like, I want the same. But I think it goes into misinterpreting your intuition. And I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything, but it was kind of like worried about being right or wrong. Fuck that, right or wrong. Well, what if I'm wrong? What if her boyfriend's actually a good guy? What if he's not a weirdo? What if he's not? Then that's great if you're wrong. Great. But maybe this intuition hunch is just for you to get fucking closer to your friend. Maybe that's
Mm,
why you're being pushed to tell her fuck the guy. Maybe it's for y'all to get a little deeper. Or
yeah,
maybe what you say is going to connect to some other shit that's going to help her figure it out.
yeah. Now I've seen that happen, but I've also seen that where you might say something out of your intuition, but then the friend flip on you. Like, why are you saying this and stuff and trying to make you the public enemy? And I'm like, you know what?
Honestly, I don't want a friend like that.
I don't want friends. I don't want family like that. If you flip out on me, if I tell you something from a man's point of view, for my best interest, for your best interest, just looking out for you, I'm like, and you flip out on me, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm just gonna sit back and watch. I'll let you vent and stuff. I'll still be that sounding board or whatever, but I'll just let you vent. I'm just not gonna say no. I'm not gonna offer no advice or nothing.
Well, see, I don't
Because sometimes
know.
I think like, what's the point in me offering you advice and being real with you if you just gonna
Totally.
flip out on me?
No, totally. But then at that point, don't fucking tell don't tell me about your toxic ass situation if I can't say shit.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
No, because can I tell you, I had to check myself on that. I was in a really toxic situation and I was noticing that I wanted to tell my friends about it, but I was getting defensive when they were telling me the truth. So I had to tell myself, Keyanna, you need to not talk to them about this for a minute. You need to get a handle on it because there's a part of you that's in denial and you know you're in denial and you're wanting your friends to validate this whack ass situation and they're not going to do it. And this I could feel that it if I kept going, it would have affected my relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of my friends, I was getting defensive, like, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm just talking to you." And I was like, "Okay," but then I was kind of like, "Woo, maybe you need to not tell her next time when you're telling her that you're going through all this crazy shit that she doesn't want to see you go through." You know?
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta learn that, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people will tell you things for your best interest because they genuinely love and respect you and they don't want to see you get hurt. And you know what I'm saying? And sometimes people don't realize that until they get hurt.
Yeah, and it's all about lessons, and I'm sure, and my friends have let me do that. They I've seen it where I can hear it in their voice where they're like, "I'm just gonna let her rock this one out," and we have to. We're that's us respecting each other. You know, like it hurts sometimes. You don't want to see your friend in situations like that, but also you have to just respect their choice, respect that they're their own person, and that they'll be okay. I try to put that in the universe too. Like I trust that you'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely gotta trust that they'll be okay and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you just gotta learn your tough lessons on your own, that lessons that are meant
Mhm.
for you and stuff. So
Mhm. Mhm.
and now
Yeah.
what's some how do people misinterpret their intuition?
Well, you can misinterpret it. Okay, so here's how I've misinterpreted it. I think mm, when you have heightened intuition, especially like I said, it's really important to remember that this is a spiritual thing that you're experiencing in a very human body. And once I realized that, it really helped because I think what was going on is I was feeling these intense bouts of intuition that would be a theme. So let's say I'm in a relationship and I'm getting this intense theme coming from this person of dishonesty. Not quite sure where it's coming from, but it's so strong. It's affecting my relationship with this person. I know they're being dishonest, but I don't know about what. So then my anxiety kicks in and my brain every single situation it could be. And then that's what I do. And now I'm a psycho bitch blowing him up, going, "Where is she?" And he's like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "I know she's there." I'm psycho at this point, and now I'm toxic because instead of accepting that, whoa, I just felt this crazy wave of dishonesty from this person. And it feels really destabilizing. And authenticity is one of my values. And because I'm not feeling that from this person, I need to evaluate whether I actually need to be with them or not. Because it doesn't quite matter what it's about. It's that it's this very strong feeling that, wow, I'm being manipulated, I'm being conned somewhere, I'm feeling like they're being dishonest on a major level somewhere. That was how I
Hmm.
needed to be. And instead of just accepting the feeling that was coming through, my brain was like, let's try to figure it out. Do you know how long you can stay in a relationship trying to figure out what the fuck the person is doing? Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's where people messed up, because when they break up, they're like, yeah, they always fucking say, yeah, I had a little feeling that something was wrong. Yeah, I had this gut feeling. And I'm like, that was it.
You just told on yourself, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't trust your intuition, you're gonna be fucked.
But that's the thing. It's not it's trusting, but then also understanding that your intuition's not going to tell you every damn little thing all the time, just
Hmm.
like your feelings don't. They're guides. This And you have to just accept it and know that your brain, we just have to know our bodies more, because when I didn't know my body, I knew I had anxiety. I see it on my diagnosis list, and I know that I get, just agitated and I overthink a lot, but I didn't fully know what it felt like in my body, separate from my intuition and separate from when I'm calm. I didn't have that
Right.
distinction. So now I know, okay, the feeling always comes first. It could be milliseconds, but the intuition feeling always comes first. And if we could learn how to slow that time down more and more, or recognize it and then separate it from when your anxiety kicks in, because
Right.
it's kind of like that feeling that moms get about their child. Something's wrong with my kid. Something's wrong.
Yep. And
If
sometimes
you're hung
moms will
up
always
on,
call.
huh?
And I said sometimes if they feel like that, they will always call.
Oh yeah, but imagine imagine a mom not calling, sitting on the couch, trying to figure out what it is because she doesn't want to bother her child in case actually nothing's wrong.
Right.
Trying to figure out, why am I getting this feeling to call Jimmy? Well, maybe it's because, what? Like your kid could be like, something could be really wrong.
And
Or
those
maybe
moms,
or
right.
maybe nothing's wrong, but that child picking up the phone to talk to you just slowed them down 1 second their whole life, that just maybe prevented a car accident a year from that point. You just calling them that time, and
Right.
they're fine.
Hmm.
So it's just like, yeah, it doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It doesn't matter if they're fine. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Just do it. And we start doing that by small things. Like if you're walking and something tells you to turn somewhere, just turn.
Hmm.
Just do it. If you and it might and Obviously separate that from impulsive, intrusive things. Don't just go around punching people because you just got a feeling. But like, but like, slowly, these little whispers, that's another thing. Your anxiety, and you'll see these posts all the time, but they're right. Your intuition is not loud. Anxiety is loud. Your
Right.
intuition is so quiet, and nothing follows after. It's just like, don't go. And that's it. It's not, oh my God, not go because the place is gonna get shoot up, or maybe I'm gonna see somebody I know, or am I gonna get a car accident? That's not it. It doesn't do that. And so just feeling your intuition, how it is within your body, I think is the major thing of interpreting it correctly.
Wow, that's amazing. It's definitely true because sometimes it's like your intuition will tell you something and you listen and it comes out all right, but then you don't listen and well, you messed up.
Yeah, always. And I've been in some really crazy situations where I didn't listen, or I told a friend something and they didn't listen, and something really crazy happened, and I was just like, oh my God, because yeah, my intuition has been really specific sometimes to the point where I'm scared. you
I
know?
I know that might get scared, but sometimes you just gotta live life. You know what I'm saying? And because sometimes you want you want your intuition to be right 100% of the time, but sometimes it is wrong. But I would say you just
Yeah.
gotta live life and get through whatever it is.
No, totally. I think the scary part is when your intuition tells you something that you wish was wrong.
Yeah, that's definitely the scary part. You don't want to ever trust your intuition when it's something wrong, but then it turns out it's right. That's definitely the scary part.
Mhm. Mhm.
But on that note, I definitely appreciate you for coming on, blessing the liquor talk with your presence again. Where can the people find you?
They can find me on all listening platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple. I am on Instagram and Twitter or X as Dark Trigger Podcast and YouTube at Dark Trigger Podcast.
That's real. Well, Keon, I want to thank you for blessing the liquor talk with your presence.
Thank
It
you.
won't be 100 episodes or 200 or more episodes before I bring you back on. Like I said,
No
whenever you're
worries.
looking to collab for your podcast, remember I'm in Florida, but I'm just a DM away. So I would hope that you bring me on. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely
Totally.
chop it up and stuff. So I'll definitely. It won't be no 200 episodes before I won't bring you on again. So I definitely will.
Cool. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you, the listeners, for listening to Liquor Talk, for rocking with Liquor Talk, and also to the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day. If we haven't told you already, go celebrate moms today on this episode of Liquor Talk. Hope y'all enjoy it. Thank y'all for checking out season 6. Whether you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Until the next episode, we are out this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, keep pouring it up with us and keep rocking with us throughout this thing. Peace.